on this campus construction contract with the town pertaining to Fairlife. We had a contract with campus to assist us on the Coca-Cola Fairlife project. It was done, I don't know, earlier this year, whatever. It was not to exceed, I want to say, $145,000, but it expires on December 31st, 2025. Not to exceed 145, whatever. I think we've been billed out on that thing about $85,000.
Approximately 70,000.
70,000. What's 15,000 a month, friends? Bottom line is the aggregate billings on that is significantly under what we had done a resolution and approved a contract on earlier this year. So that contract essentially is now going to be done. It expires December 31st of this year. This resolution is to extend this contract really from January 1st, 2026 until when Fairlife gets their certificate of occupancy or through December 31st, 2026, whichever comes sooner. That makes sense? You're giving me the shake of the head with a very skeptical look.
Well, so I've got a couple questions. I've got a statement.
Shoot away.
Question. I completely understand, number one, the need for campus. They do a fantastic job keeping us informed, keeping things on the right path with Fairlife. So I see a need to extend this contract. Don't have a problem with that whatsoever. So we're talking about the certificate of occupancy. We're not talking about a temporary certificate
No.
of occupancy, correct?
No.
Okay,
No.
good. So the only other question I have is that the original contract was not to exceed $145,000.
Mhm.
Does that total amount of money still pertain to this extension? We're not starting from zero and going to 145 again, right?
No, this one is, and essentially it's starting from zero and going to not exceed 138.
Okay.
Now, we already have a track record that shows that they have been working with us pretty much all of 2025, and we did a resolution to approve a contract not to exceed 145.
Yep.
We had no idea, time and materials, how much time
Right.
Rory and Jared Miller and the various people at Campus Construction would need to bill us for working with our DPW staff to assist us with interacting with Fairlife. Well, now we know, don't we, Kyle? It ended up being about $70,000 in time and material billings. So significantly under what we had estimated, and did a resolution to not to exceed 145 for the whole year.
Right.
So I feel relatively confident that starting on January 1st, 26, that for the whole year or until they get their certificate of occupancy, whichever comes first, it would be hard to believe that they would bill us up to $138,000. However, you just never know. And I mean, Josh, you're here. You're the only person I think here from DPW. It's a very interesting thing of how much time has to be spent on Fairlife because it fluctuates. Some days you spend no time on it. Then you spend a day where you spend the whole day on it.
It does tend to ebb and flow for sure.
And the degree that Rory, who is the project manager for campus on this, how much time he gets involved in this is usually when things start to hit DEFCON 5 between the town and Fairlife.
Yeah.
And that's just hard for us to anticipate what that is going to look like January 1st of 2026 through the end when they get their certificate of occupancy. It's an 800,000 square foot building that is close to $1 billion that Coke Fairlife is paying. This is not a 2,500 square foot house that we're issuing a certificate of occupancy on. So it's just, we're kind of guessing how much need we're going to have of campus. We were guessing back in early 25 when this board decided to do a not to exceed 145,000. It worked out. They billed us up to about 70,000, right, Kyle? Because that's the number of hours at their billing rate that they needed and utilized. How many hours we'll need them in 2026? Don't know, but I feel pretty comfortable not to exceed 138 is going to work. And I will also say this. and I'm tying on to what Councilman Cahill said. For the new board members that are here tonight, and I've given Alex within the transition process a list of about 70 things you might want to look at, right, Alex? I don't know, About 3 months ago, Brayton Connard, our head of HR, did a presentation here, a workshop presentation that I asked him to do because I wanted it to be there for the new board to look at in 26. It was about having a DPW commissioner, which this town doesn't have. We have not had a DPW commissioner since mid-2020. Our code was written to have a DPW commissioner. We did not operate, our code had a DPW commissioner that had highway, sewer, engineering, all report to the DPW commissioner. When I got into office, I found out that the way the town had practiced their org structure was that the DPW commissioner, the highway superintendent, and the head of the sewer department, they all reported to the supervisor. Now, I'm an org structure guy. That's ridiculous. In my opinion, that's ridiculous. The code writers were very smart to have a DPW commissioner have those specific talents report to the DPW commissioner so they could assure that there wasn't silos of communication when they were looking at a project. To make a long story short, which I'm not good at, right, Diana? Okay.
You said it.
When we went to look at, in late 2020, hiring another DPW commissioner, I suggested to the board, why don't we take this opportunity to operate the way our code says? Joe Herbst was retiring as our highway superintendent. The new highway superintendent would not miss what they never had, so have that person, he or she, report to the DPW commissioner and tell sewer that you're going to report to this new DPW commissioner. The board at that time did not have an appetite for that. You're going to learn as a board member, there's hills you'll die on, there's hills you won't. That one I wasn't willing to die on. So we reconnoitered the org structure. We split DPW into community development, which Josh heads up, and into engineering, which Keith Mortimer heads up. So now we have 4 DPW department really reporting to the town supervisor. So in September, we showed how we could, right now, since our patron left, we could take this opportunity to maybe go to that DPW model where highway superintendent, engineering, community development, sewer reports to the DPW commissioner. Not hire another replacement for our patron who ran the sewer department. Because our patron was a construction manager, and that's what we needed in 2017 to 2025, because we were building a $100 million sewer plant. And his background was construction management. So that made sense. But now we have a major business that we're running at the sewer plant. So we need, I'm good at this. I chase people out of here, right? So that's all there for you to look at. Brayton Connor did the presentation, benchmarked against other like-kind towns our size to show how their org structure is configured. Now, I knew I only had 3 months left, and I wasn't going to start running that, project, because it's going to take time. It's got to be discerned. To me, coming back to why we have campus, I was saying to the DPW departments back in 2021 and 22, when we configured it this way, you better figure out how to work together and not be siloed. Figure it out in peacetime. Because in wartime, you ain't going to figure it out. In wartime is when a huge project comes to town. That's not when you figure it out. And Fairlife came to town. And when they came to town, we're like, well, who's going to head this up in DPW with the engineers and all that for Fairlife? And what we decided was that the best thing we could do is outsource that to campus. And that's what we did. And even if you get that DPW commissioner in the future, I would suggest you look at outsourcing to a campus type firm if Eli Lilly decides to build a production facility on 80 acres over at Xerox. This town is not built to handle projects the size of a Fairlife or another 80 acre. Outsource that work to Jerry Goldman to do seeker work. Outsource that work to do some of the things to help the DPW department. So it's my last board meeting. I figure I'm going to just go down. I'm going to leave it all in the field. You can take that for what it's worth because, you know, ultimately now you're going to have to decide what to do with that position. You can go hire Art Patron's replacement with the same skill sets of construction management. Doesn't make any sense. You'll have to figure that out. So, anybody got a problem with extending this for campus's contract with the town to oversee Fairlife and assist our DPW department?
I'm all confused now after that. All that information you gave me, I'm a little lost.
I live to confuse you, Jen. This is what you got to look for to 3 new board members. He's easily confused.
I'm good.
I make a motion to extend the town contract with campus pertaining to Fairlife from January 1st, 2026 to A, the town issuance of the certificate of occupancy to Fairlife, or B, December 31st, 2026, whichever comes first.
At a
I'll
cost.
Not to exceed $138,000.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty,
Aye.
Councilman Cahill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi,
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn,
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright.
Aye.
Okay, I think the 3-page contract that got out to the board members today is got Daryl